This is one of the rarest vehicles on Australian roads. Now I know what you're thinking. Scotty, you've lost your mind. That's a Kia Sportage, I see them everywhere. And you're right, this is a Kia Sportage, and they've sold about 20,000 of them in the last 2 years. However, this one is a little bit different. I'll let you know why in a minute, but we'll do the exterior, then the interior, and then we'll go for a drive to see how the Sportage stacks up. But before that, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep up with all our latest car reviews. Now, this is the base model Sportage S, which starts at $29,490 RRP, which is pretty sharp for a mid-size SUV. However, there's also an all-new model just around the corner, so there might be deals to be had. Despite the keen price, it's not completely bare bones. We've got these 17-inch alloys, heated door mirrors, colour-coded door handles, and chrome trim like this window surround. I wouldn't say it necessarily looks like the base model. The tailgate is manually operated, but also quite light, and reveals 466 litres of boot space, which is okay, but a bit on the smaller side for this segment. There are 4 handy tie-down hooks though, but if you lift this up, you'll find one of my favourite features. A full-size spare, and it's an alloy too. Well done, Kia. This is really important. Space savers sound great until you're 150 k's from the nearest town with a flat. The rear seats fold 60-40 and give a total of 1,455 litres of space. In the back I've got plenty of space. The rear seat reclines to a number of different angles. There's a 12-volt and USB outlet, rear vents and centre armrest. Okay, so it's not exactly the London Savoy back here, but all the essentials are covered. Things are a little more basic here in the front. It's greyer than a Melbourne winter's day up here. And there's plenty of hard plastics, while the size and font of the screens betray the Sportage's age. I've also got to insert and twist a key to turn the engine on. Still, the wheel is leather wrapped and there's smartphone mirroring. And having driven a couple of the Kia's new arrivals recently, which bury the HVAC controls in the centre touchscreen, I've got to say it's pretty refreshing to have simple dials for the heating and air conditioning. Sometimes old solutions are the best. If you find the base S a little too, well, basic, spending an extra $2,100 for the SX brings dual zone climate control, a larger 8-inch touchscreen, an 8-speaker stereo, native sat-nav, digital radio, rain sensing wipers and 18-inch alloys. By now the keen-eyed amongst you might have spotted what makes this Sportage a bit different. Yep, as well as this lever in the centre console, I've got 3 pedals in the footwell. This is a manual. Now, for any overseas viewers, the idea of a manual SUV might not be that strange, but here in Australia, buyers tend to view changing gears as something like doing your taxes or cleaning the oven. Best avoided at all costs and preferably handled by someone else. And that's in sports cars, let alone family SUVs. So, what's it like to drive? I mentioned earlier that this is one of the rarest cars on Australian roads, and I wasn't kidding. Since the manual was introduced in September 2019, of the 20,000 or so Sportages sold, just 198 have had 3 pedals. Quite a few manufacturers have these manual price leaders at the bottom of their ranges, but to be honest, we very rarely get a chance to drive them. So should you consider it, or is it just a pain? On the plus side, you'll save $2,000 over the Auto, and you can also view it as an anti-theft device. Earlier this year, a Melbourne gentleman was sadly carjacked, but the thieves couldn't make off with his car because they didn't know how to drive a manual. There are other positives. Every Sportage, even this base model, comes with front, side and curtain airbags, as well as auto emergency braking, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, a rear view camera and rear parking sensors. However, I'm also a safer driver. Because I have to concentrate on changing gears every time I speed up or slow down, I'm much more focused on the task at hand, which is definitely a good thing. It also helps with the Sportage's greatest weakness, which is its engine. Now you can get a diesel, which has a lot more grunt, as well as an 8-speed auto and all-wheel drive, but it's an extra $7,500. Instead, we're left with a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol producing 114 kilowatts and 192 newton meters, and that ain't much in a car this size. It scoots along okay on the flat if you use a few revs, but I've had to find myself changing down through the box going up hills, even with just myself in the car. As a result, the fuel consumption isn't too flash. I'm currently averaging 9.2 litres per 100k. If you're somebody who regularly commutes in heavy traffic, I'm not going to try and sell you on the virtues of a manual. But if you don't, it's a nice shift. Light and easy with pretty close ratios. I've certainly driven plenty of performance cars with worse gear shifts than this. The rest of the package is, well, it's fine really, without being a standout in any one area. The control weights make it nice and easy to drive, and the ride is generally pretty compliant. There is a bit of road noise though, and traction can be a bit of an issue, especially from a standing start on slippery surfaces. In general though, the driving experience doesn't really garner any criticism nor particular praise. As no frills family transport, the base Sportage still has a lot to offer. Yes, it's feeling its age in a couple of areas, and maybe the SX is the smarter buy, but if you can get one of these for low 30s drive away, then you've got a roomy and comfortable SUV with the peace of mind of a 7-year warranty. As mentioned, there is an all-new Sportage just around the corner, which will undoubtedly come with more tech and more safety, but also a higher price tag. The good news is, if you do want to wait, you'll still be able to get a manual. This tea is actually quite nice. Really quite nice. Don't know if it tastes like English breakfast. I think it's an Earl Grey, but it's nice tea regardless. Not double declutching like you should.